Zehan was a 32-year-old man who had everything many people would envy: a stable job, a decent paycheck, and a life that seemed to be following the typical path to success. But deep inside, he felt an emptiness, a lingering dissatisfaction that he couldn't ignore anymore. It wasn't that he hated his job or disliked the life he had built over the years. It was more like an unshakable feeling that something was missing. He was caught in the mundane routine, working 9 to 5, living for the weekends, and following a script that others had written for him. The truth was, he didn't even remember the last time he had truly felt alive, passionate, or excited about anything. One night, as he sat on the couch in his small apartment, staring at the city lights outside his window, he couldn't escape the thought that had been haunting him for months. Was this all life had to offer? He had a conversation with his best friend, Ali, the following day. Ali, who was always the practical one, said, "Zehan, you're doing well. Why change anything? You've got a good job, a roof over your head, and a steady income. What more could you want?" But Zehan's heart wasn't in it. I don't know, Ali. I feel like I'm living for everyone else but myself. I keep wondering if there's something more for me. What if this isn't enough?" Ali looked at him with a furrowed brow. "You're having a midlife crisis, man. It happens. You'll snap out of it." But deep down, Zehan knew this wasn't just a passing phase. He had always lived by the rules, played it safe, and avoided risks. But now, for the first time, he felt that the comfort zone he had built around himself was slowly suffocating him. For weeks, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was standing at a crossroads. The job, the apartment, the social circle. Everything felt stable, but uninspiring. He realized that for once, he wanted to live for himself, not for the expectations of others. Maybe it's time to take a leap of faith, Zehan thought. But the leap wasn't easy. It never is. Zehan woke up the next morning, the weight of the decision pressing heavily on his chest. He knew that he couldn't go on living the way he had. Something inside him had shifted, and it felt like his soul was yearning for change, even though his mind was still full of doubts. He sat at his kitchen table, staring at his coffee cup, wondering if he was making a huge mistake. What if I fail? The question echoed in his mind. What if I'm not good enough? What if I lose everything? But deep down, he knew that the biggest failure would be to never even try. Zehan made the decision. He gave his notice at the office. His boss was surprised, but there was a sense of understanding in his eyes. "Zehan, you've always been one of our most reliable workers. I hope you find what you're looking for," his boss said, a hint of respect in his voice. The act of quitting wasn't just about leaving his job. It was about letting go of the life he had constructed, the life he had been playing by the book. Zehan was now stepping into the unknown, and it was terrifying. He had no backup plan, no clear direction, and no guarantees that the risks he was taking would pay off. But for the first time in years, he felt alive. For weeks, he spent his days reflecting, reading, and exploring things he had always been passionate about, but never had time for. He started writing, something he hadn't done in years. He took up photography, something he had always wanted to try, but never had the courage to pursue. Every day felt like a new opportunity to rediscover himself. But with each step forward, the doubt crept in. One afternoon, as he was writing in his small apartment, he looked up at the blank walls around him. The excitement he had felt at first was slowly starting to fade. His savings were running low, and the fear of uncertainty started creeping back in. What if this doesn't work? He thought again. What if I'm just chasing a dream that isn't meant to be? He reached out to his mentor, an older man he had always looked up to, a former writer who had followed his own unconventional path. "Zehan, you've stepped into a new world, one that isn't defined by a paycheck or a structured routine. You'll face more doubt than ever before, and you'll be tempted to give up. But remember this, the path to anything meaningful is never straight. It's messy, uncertain, and full of obstacles. But it's worth it." Those words stuck with him, They resonated in a way that no corporate training session or motivational speech ever had. It wasn't about a clear path. It was about the journey, the grit, and the persistence to continue even when the going got tough. Zehan realized that he didn't need all the answers right away. He didn't need everything to be perfect. He just needed to keep moving forward, step by step. Months passed, and Zehan found himself at a tipping point. The initial excitement of his new life had faded, replaced by the harsh reality of what it meant to pursue a passion without the safety net of a stable job. His savings were almost depleted, and the doubts that had once only whispered in the back of his mind were now screaming at him. The photos he took didn't sell as he had hoped, and his writing, though cathartic, wasn't bringing in any income. He was living off the bare minimum, constantly watching his bank account shrink with every passing day. One afternoon, he sat in a small cafe, scrolling through social media, and saw an old colleague post about a promotion at work. The words, "Congratulations on your success," flooded his feed, and a wave of envy hit him. Why did it feel like everyone else was succeeding while I'm barely getting by? He couldn't help but compare himself to his friends, people who had followed the traditional path and were thriving. Zehan's mind spiraled. Maybe they were right. Maybe I was just fooling myself. Maybe this journey isn't for me. Just as he was about to close his laptop and let the defeat settle in, an unexpected email popped up. It was from a small publishing company he had sent his writing to months ago. He hesitated before opening it, not expecting much. But when he did, his heart skipped a beat. "We are impressed by your work and would like to offer you a contract to publish your stories. We believe your unique perspective could resonate with a broader audience." It was a moment of shock, disbelief, and then overwhelming gratitude. After all the struggle, all the doubt, all the sleepless nights, someone had finally taken notice of his work. The hard work, the vulnerability, the persistence. Everything had finally paid off. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Zehan signed the contract, and with the publishing deal, opportunities began to open up. He was invited to talk at conferences, featured in small publications, and his work started reaching a growing audience. The fear of failure, which had once paralyzed him, slowly turned into the fuel that drove him forward. Zehan knew that he wasn't done yet. The road was far from smooth, and the challenges would continue. But now, he had something that he never thought he would find: a sense of purpose, a passion, and a belief that he was exactly where he needed to be. In the end, it wasn't about the external success. It was about the transformation that had taken place within him. He had faced the fear, the uncertainty, and the failure. He had walked the hard path, and in doing so, he had discovered something far more valuable: himself. Zehan's journey wasn't perfect, and it wasn't easy, but it was real. And it had led him to the one place that mattered most, the place where he was truly free to live life on his own terms.